Welcome everyone to this first episode of Imperial Arms. For this episode I've chosen the most basic weapon in the Warhammer 40k universe, also known as the lasgun. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you like it and want to hear more of this, please like and subscribe. The Imperial lasgun, also known as the Imperial flashlight, is widely known to be a staple weapon for Astra Militarum regiments. Although it doesn't pack a punch like for instance a plasma gun or bolter, it's still a fairly reliable piece of small arms because it's relatively easy to produce and maintain, and is produced in literal millions all over the Imperium. The lasgun is standard issue for rank and file infantry of the Astra Militarum, the Adeptus Mechanis Caetari, and most junior officers. A standard lasgun weighs in at around 2.3 kilos, which makes it significantly lighter than, say, a modern firearm like an AK-47 or an M4. But with a slower rate of fire of around 220 shots per minute, comparable to the approximate 600 of an M4 or an AK, but the lack of needs to bring literal tons of different ammunition types makes for ease of logistics, since the power pack can be recharged in a number of ways, including, but not limited to, sunlight and heat. The lasgun uses a small portable capacitor power pack to produce a focused pinpoint laser beam which is strong enough to take an ordinary human's arm off with one shot. It is not as effective against the more durable alien bodies, like for instance an orc or a tyrannid, and stronger types of personal armor. A lasgun beam also cauterizes the wounds it inflicts due to the massive heat given off by the shot. The lasgun is effective when used en masse, but considerably less effective when used alone. A standard lasgun power pack can take around 150 shots. Rounds is for guns, and can be overcharged, a trick used by Imperial Guard veterans, which causes the pack to explode, turning the weapon into a makeshift grenade. Now, this is only used in last-ditch situations, as the weapon is obviously destroyed. Lasguns have numerous power settings for adjusting the power of each shot and to conserve power, resulting in a weaker laser shot fired. The lasgun mounts a bayonet lug, allowing the weapon to be fitted with bayonets or combat knives. Now there are multiple variants of the lasgun. One of those is the long lance, the preferred weapon of the Imperial Guard's sharpshooters. The barrel of the long lance is extended to bolster the weapon's accuracy, but requires replacement after every 20 to 50 shots depending on the power setting and the cooldown time. For this reason, it's outfitted with a special barrel which is easily locked and unlocked from the weapon's housing. The standard lasgun pattern used by the Imperial Guard is known as the M35 M Galaxy pattern, first put in use in 2546 789 mm 35. Although thousands of variants, marks and patterns exist. Despite all these variations, the main mechanism of every lasgun remains the same in almost all regiments. This makes the logistics of supplying multi-regiment armies in a much simpler manner for the Departamentum Monitorum. Other variants of this weapon include a more compact las pistol, the anti-armor las cannon, and the more powerful and expensive Hellgun. The Imperial Standard lasgun, as used by most of the Imperial regiments, has many attachments, including, but not limited to, several types of scopes, bayonets, laser sights, and flashlights. The lasgun and las pistol are weapons generally meant for dealing with lightly armored infantry. As such, it's not best suited for taking down heavily armored infantry, like, for instance, a Chaos Space Marine. However, its relative power should be assessed only when comparing it with more powerful Imperial weapons, as even a las pistol is capable of killing an unarmed target in one shot. When set to maximum power, lasguns have been known to penetrate weak spots in Chaos Marine power armor, with the shot penetrating the neck joint or even decapitating the fall creature in an instant. Well, that's at least if you can hit the thing. But the lasgun excels at mass volley fire. A hail of flash shots from dozens, if not hundreds of lasguns can stop the charge of hordes of lightly armored opponents like Chaos cultists or orc boys dead in their tracks. Concentrated las fire upon even a very powerful single armored target, like a space marine, can eventually overwhelm that target's armor. Despite its lack of damage output, the lasgun remains a favorite weapon of Imperial soldiers, but it has many redeeming qualities. It is a solid and rugged weapon that remains reliable and precise in almost any environment and requires very little maintenance. A quick cleanup, whilst mumbling a prayer to the weapon's machine spirit, is all that is needed to keep it going for around 10,000 shots, after which the crystals are worn out and must be replaced, an action that requires the intervention of a knowledgeable tech priest. Unlike for instance a flamer or melter gun, the lasgun can be outfitted with a bayonet and used as a club at close quarters without risk of damaging the weapon. It will also never overheat, with potentially fatal results for its operator, like a plasma gun, and will almost never run out of ammo, even on prolonged operations or in a situation where resupply is unlikely. Overall, the Imperial lasgun is a relatively unimpressive weapon when compared to many of the other high-tech technology weapons available in the galaxy. But, as we all know, that is only comparable to the other craziness you find in Warhammer 40k. Now, for some fun, I've got an extract of the Imperial Guardsman's uplifting primer, and I wanted to tell you, I quote this to you all. So, here goes. The standard MG short pattern lasgun. To an Imperial Guardsman, the lasgun is far more than just a weapon. It is an instrument of mankind's divinity, the bringer of death to his foes, whose howling blast is a prayer to the Emperor's retribution. The lasgun is the most precious item in your possession. Of all the things you will have to carry on your back, through swamp, jungle or field, this is the one thing you must never lose. It is your closest ally, your most trusted partner, your best protector. Treat it well. If you lose your lasgun, you will die. Well, you will probably be executed, but... Well, everyone, if you're hearing this, you made it to the end of the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, do leave a like or a comment. I read all my comments, and I'll hope to see you again soon. Bye everyone.